Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining. We're just going to give it one more moment and allow one more minute, sorry, and allow everybody else to come on in. Great to see so many people on the call. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. Hey, hi. Welcome to another informative webinar from the Drought Venture Studio. Our discussion today is around Cohort 4 of the Drought Resilience Lab. I'm Nash. I'm the operations lead for the Venture Studio. Today, we will be providing an update on the Drought Venture Studio, why we exist, and our flagship program, the Drought Resilience Lab. Some housekeeping before we begin. We have someone on our team moderating the Q&A function. If you submit a question, we'll respond either on our website FAQs or to someone on our team at the end who will be able to answer. One thing we've learned is Microsoft Teams can be a little janky when we want to use the Q&A function. We find it works best in the Teams app and sometimes isn't as great when you're watching from the browser. So if you are having trouble with posting a question, try it from the Teams app. We will be recording this webinar for distribution to anyone who couldn't join us today. Because of that, we have switched off your smiling faces, so you can expect to receive an email from us in the coming days with the recording and information on next steps. As we are wrapping up today, if you feel like you still have questions for the team, we'll finish off with the best contact details for you to speak with someone here before submitting an application. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which this webinar is being broadcast. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders people joining us today. We recognise that First Nations communities around the country have an enduring connection to the land, water and culture, and that the oral histories passed down about drought can deeply inform the way that we all understand and more effectively manage landscapes across Australia. I'd now like to also thank our partners at the Australian Federal Government, DAF. Beanstalk's Drought Venture Studio, with its focus on drought and climate resilience, is made possible by the support and funding we have received from the Drought Venture Fund, from the Future Drought Fund as part of the Drought Resilience Commercialisation Initiative. This collaboration has made this world-first Drought Venture Studio possible, and we are deeply grateful for this partnership and commitment to developing innovative solutions to tackle drought and ensure a resilient future for Australian agriculture. So here's what you can expect from today's webinar. An overview of the Drought Venture Studio, why we exist, and our flagship program, the Drought Resilience Lab. This being an informative webinar for Cohort 4, we will then share with you some of the outcomes already achieved from our first 3 cohorts. To bring this to life, we will have a short Q&A session with 2 of our fantastic innovators from Cohort 2. We will then step through the key programmatic elements of the Drought Resilience Lab before deep diving into the type of innovators and innovations we are looking for. Finally, before you go, if you have any of your questions, before we leave, if you do have any extra questions, we will do a walkthrough of the Cohort 4 application process and key dates. So allow me to introduce you to the team who will be joining us today from the Drought Venture Studio. Ben Lever, a senior venture builder at the studio. Ben has been leading our team's efforts to identify great innovators and doing an excellent job. We're also joined by venture builder Anna Tao, who will also steer some of our discussions today and help us wrap up by summarising the key dates and the application process. So that's enough from me. I'm going to hand back to Ben, who's going to go through an overview of the Drought Venture Studio. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you so much, Nat, and thank you to everybody that could join us today and those of you who may be watching the recording right now. So firstly, I'd love to give everybody a bit of an overview of the Drought Venture Studio, and as part of that, give you a little bit of background to Beanstalk itself. Beanstalk is a company that is headquartered here in Australia. We've been in operation for about 10 years, and we are really dedicated to driving profitable and sustainable agri-food systems through our work with ventures and our advisory services. And the venture studios we'll talk about in a moment benefits from our really long history and involvement with industry groups and corporate agriculture from all around the world. And the Drought Venture Studio and the programs that we run from within that very much leverage these connections we have all around the world. But looking specifically at the Drought Venture Studio, why does it exist? Well, firstly, there's drought. And drought has always been a challenge for farmers. And climate change means that drought will become more frequent, more intense, and last longer than we have known. In addition, Australia already invests very, very heavily in R&D for climate resilient agriculture. And this is something that we want to be able to leverage, knowing that only a small percentage of that IP and technology is actually commercialized. Which brings us to our second reason for being here, and that is commercialization. We all know that navigating early stage venture creation is a huge risk. On the one hand, we have a lot of public funding in Australia going towards things like agricultural research, and this helps to fund very early stage technological research, but often stops after proof of concept. Later on, however, we do have private funding opportunities, either through accelerators, impact funds, venture capital. And this helps to pick up these later stage ventures and take them on to the next stage. But what we are all too familiar with is this valley of death that lives in the middle. This point where a lot of ventures initially begin and then go off to die before they can get to that next stage. And the Beanstalk Drought Venture Studio is really designed to support innovators with a pathway to validate their commercial potential and leap over this valley of death. So the Drought Venture Studio is best described as a team of venture builders, and we're 100% focused on building IP-backed ventures that are tackling some of the biggest challenges in drought and climate resilience affecting Australian farming. We are focused on identifying innovators with amazing research, technologies, prototypes, and IP, and we're all about supporting those innovators to cross that valley of death. And our team of 8 experienced and hands-on venture builders will help you get there. And the Drought Venture Studio does this through 2 of our flagship programs. The first is our cohort-based Drought Resilience Lab, and this is what we have our 4th cohort open for at the moment. We'll be talking more about today. And this program is for individuals and teams as well as startups, so it's very, very flexible and accessible. And during this program, we mentor and validate the commercial viability of ventures or potential ventures if they don't exist already. Our second program is our Ventures in Residence program. And this is a much longer program, which is designed specifically for ventures and ventures that we've seen demonstrated traction through our Drought Resilience Lab program. We work with these ventures for a much longer period of time and also provide additional funding. Right now, we don't have any slots guaranteed for the Ventures in Residence program. They're all filled at this stage, but this is something that we're currently working on. That's a bit of a high-level overview of the Drought Venture Studio. We'll talk later on about the Drought Resilience Lab and how that works as a program. But before we do that, I'd love to pass things on to Anna that will describe some of the outcomes that our programs and our innovators have already achieved.
Thank you, Ben.
Over to you, Anna.
Thank you, Ben. Hope everybody can hear me all right. Apologies for some poor connections at the moment. So my name is Anna Tao. As Ben mentioned, I'm one of the venture builders currently based in Melbourne, Victoria. As a national venture building team, we've been very proud being in the past 12 months working with 3 cohorts of over 60 innovators across the Drought Resilience Lab over 12 weeks. What that means is we had the opportunity to work with innovators from every state of Australia, and many of the innovators came from rural and regional hubs. So if you're one of them, we'd love to hear from you and see many of your innovation coming through. In addition to that, we have fortunate to work with over 24% of innovations led by women as the project leaders or startup founders. This is better than industry average, but we would love to increase this number further. We have designed this program for everyone. As I mentioned, we want to make sure that everybody have access to the programs regardless where you're from. So the program is remote friendly and should able to fit into your current work. After doing 3 cohorts, we're now proud of working with 7 venture in residents who enjoy this dedicated support after 12 months. Then next slide, if you can. We cannot do this without the broader ecosystem support. So we've been fortunate to be able to work with research and research innovation from a range of universities and other public research organizations you can see on the screen, both in the metro and regional areas. Most of these innovators are entrepreneurial researchers and also agtech startup founders who's been building their innovations. Few of them actually came from what we call industry disruptors, i.e. they are not from ag industry and have little knowledge of industry, but they have developed technologies that could be transformative into ag market. We also have farmers who is being turned into startup founders and able to contribute. As mentioned, we cater to all 3 groups, and we cannot do this without the broader ecosystem support. One thing to highlight is for all the drought resilience lab programs, we deliver a high-level event called Innovation Showcase. As you can see on the screens, the showcase is a high-impact event held at the end of our programs, where the top innovators have opportunity to pitch their ventures to our key stakeholders. It's designed as a platform to highlight the 8 standout innovations and their solutions for drought resilience in front of a curated audience. Many of our partners will be there, including investors as well as official partners from regional research and development corporations. In addition to that, we also invite stakeholders across the agriculture innovation ecosystems, everything from our lovely partners from the 8 drought resilience hubs across Australia, as well as university commercialization teams and government representatives who can open doors to potential non-dilutive fundings and grant opportunities. And last but not least, agribusiness leaders and industry experts who open doors to potential trials for many of these top 8 innovators. So we have seen many of our top 8 benefit from these connections happening on the day and afterwards. And this has yielded into trial partnerships and funding opportunities within a couple of weeks or immediately right after the event. So some of the magic happens at the event and lasting connections made at these events. So now you can hear what that experience really looked like directly from our innovator who participate in programs. I'll pass it back to Ben.
Thank you, Anna. So what I'd love to do now is introduce 2 of our innovators who participated in Cohort 2 of our program, who are joining us today. So firstly, we have Beck Hopper, who's the founder at Resin Ag. And we also have Ding Zhang, who is the founder at EcoProxy. Now, I'm just wondering whether you can just turn on Beck and Ding's cameras and microphones.
No.
There
Hey
we go. We've got
Ben and
Ding.
Ned. Hi everyone.
Hi, Ding. Thank you for joining us. And
Hey,
there we go.
everyone.
We've got back. There we go. We almost had another janky Teams moment, but all is good. Thank you, both of you, for joining us this afternoon and sharing some of your time. Just have a couple of questions, and really the goal here is to help give our audience a better sense of the Drought Resilience Lab, and in particular your experience having gone through the program. But maybe to kick things off, Beck, maybe you could just share with everybody a little bit about yourself and Resonag as well.
Hey, everyone. I'm Beck, the MD of Resonag, and we're basically bringing MRI to agriculture. So you've probably heard of or had an MRI. It looks at the water in your body. But most people don't know it was actually used well before then in the oil and gas industry in the 50s to sort of look at water and oil and gas in rock. So basically you can use it in any sort of substrate that's sufficiently non-magnetic. And we're just miniaturizing it for agriculture.
Yeah, it's very, very, very cool. And so as you hinted at, Resonag sort of comes from the mining industry. You have roots in the mining industry. So agriculture seems like not the most obvious fit initially. So could you share a little bit as to what attracted you to Beanstalk, the program, and what made you decide to apply?
You're spot on there. So we came from the sort of mining and oil and gas industry. So we had no ag experience or contacts whatsoever. So it was a very easy thing for us to decide to apply to your program. Also, I guess on a personal note, while I've got others in the team who have worked at commercializing startups before, I personally have only sort of been a leading engineering team. So I was really interested also from a personal note to learn more about how to make a decent pitch deck, how to commercialize a venture.
Yeah, and so as we'll get into, the Drought Resilience Lab program is a 12-week program, and we'll also hint at the fact that it's a fairly intensive program. Beck, can you maybe share with everybody a little bit about your experience of those 12 weeks? Perhaps what surprised you the most?
Yeah, I guess there was quite a bit of work. I'll be honest there, but it was work that we needed to get done. I needed to do, and sometimes having some external motivation to do tasks that you wouldn't necessarily put to the front of your queue is actually a really useful thing. So we spent a lot of time practicing the pitch. But that really paid off for us. The showcase was a really great outcome after that. There were also some very interesting lectures from very targeted people. Really appreciated the content that these guys put together. There was good one-on-one help from a very enthusiastic venture builder. I think everyone on the Beanstalk team is actually really enthusiastic and brings great energy. So like there's a benefit even there just to have someone on your team bringing positive energy to you every week. I think that's probably what surprised me as well, is it really helps to have someone just batting for you each week.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, startups and the early stage journey is tough as it is already. So it's good to have other people in your corner helping you out. You mentioned your experience with the showcase event. So both you and Ding were selected to present at our Cohort 2 showcase event. Maybe you could share a little bit about what transpired following that event and what that opened up for you, and maybe just any other outcomes you've achieved that you might sort of credit towards some of your learnings in the program.
Yeah, it was a really great event. We met a lot of people and from there launched meeting even more people. I think it was a great springboard for us to meeting a lot of people in the industry, both from a funding perspective and from contacts like being able to organize field trials and that sort of stuff. So I think those are the two main things that we really got out of it, is some really valuable contacts. And I guess one other thing that was really good that we weren't expecting, there's a component of allied services work where the guys in the other part of Beanstalk, I never know how to describe your allied services team or whatever, but people that they work with quite closely, sort of did some market research for us and brought up one really key nugget of information, which was the concept of plant available water, which we hadn't come across before then. And it turns out plant available water, which is something the industry really needs and doesn't have a measure for, is something that's really perfectly suited to our technology. So it was a really great outcome for us that has lasted from then on. It sort of changed the way we market our product and everything. So excellent.
Yeah,
Thanks.
amazing. Yeah, and I recall sort of in your pitch at the showcase event that's actually a key element of how you frame Resonate, that plant available water. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for sharing your experience, Beck. Ding, I'll throw it to you now. Could you just share with everybody a little bit of yourself and tell us about EcoProxy?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Ding. I'm currently working as a postdoc at the University of New South Wales. I'm also the founder of EcoProxy, which is a UNSW spin-out startup. And at EcoProxy, we are developing a generation system that produces green chemical called hydrogen peroxide on-site and on demand. And the purpose is for irrigation system cleaning and disease control. And I participated in Beanstalk Drought Venture program last year as part of Cohort 2. And now I'm currently in phase 2 in venture in residence with Beanstalk. And I'm also continuing to develop our prototype and grow our venture in business.
Yeah, great. So maybe you could share a little bit about your journey, Ding. I know you were and still are involved with one of the founders program within University of New South Wales, but I guess what drew you to the Drought Resilience Lab program?
Yeah, I was drawn to Beanstalk because it provides a great platform to address the real problems in agriculture. And our product, which is hydrogen peroxide, it has a huge potential in agriculture because it's can be used as a green pesticide and fungicide. And as someone coming from a research background, I really wanted to bridge the gap between research and the real world application. And I think Beanstalk provides a good opportunity, to help engage with industry experts, validate our assumptions, refine our pitch, as Beck said, and also understand operational challenges in agri-food sectors. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember sort of watching a little bit from afar your journey throughout those 12 weeks before you landed on where you did with your pitch and value proposition. Could you share for everybody else a little bit about that experience of, I guess, your thinking when you came into the program and how that changed throughout as you learned more?
Yeah. So in 12 weeks, it was very fast paced. And initially, I thought like no one used hydrogen peroxide in agriculture in Australia. But then throughout the program, I learned that for irrigation operators, they already been using peroxide for like almost a decade. And that discovery actually changed the pathway. And then it shifted my focus sort of from customers, from farmers, and to irrigation equipment suppliers. So that's why it's really important to speak to different people in the industry, and their insights can really change your pathway.
Yeah, amazing. Just finally then, Ding, know that you're working with us at the moment still in our Ventures in Residence program, but thinking about the 12-week Drought Resilience Lab program, I guess for you personally, what do you sort of take away as being a really valuable aspect of that experience, and how's that shaped you today?
Yeah. So personally, the thing I've learned is the mindset shift. That's the most important thing, because I'm from a research and engineering background, and I was used to focusing on technical feasibility, but now through the program, I'm more focused on the entrepreneurial mindset. So now my thinking is, who should we build this prototype for, and how can we solve the problem for the customers? How can we put ourselves in their shoes? And I think this is the change I've been through throughout the program. Yeah, I think the mindset shift is really important.
Yeah, amazing. Thanks, Ding, and thank you, Beck, as well. Really appreciate you both, sharing your time this afternoon, and sharing your experiences with our audience. All the best. So, I guess from there, I'd love to share with everybody now just a very high level overview of the Drought Resilience Lab program itself. Give everybody a flavour of the key programmatic elements. before I hand it over to Anna, who will talk a little bit more about the types of people and technologies and IP that we're really looking for. So if you were to sum up the Drought Resilience Lab program in a few words, it's that we're bespoke and hands-on with our venture coaching. In addition to that, I'll also add that we provide a lot of venture coaching. So our tailored support extends to 40 plus hours per innovator that we're working with. That's through one-on-one coaching, but also a lot of work that we're doing outside of those sessions as well, finding extra information for people. This is complemented with a series of what we call cohort meetups that we run each week. Beck alluded to some specialist services that we also provide to our innovators that do things, look into markets, look into customer research, and in some cases support innovators with IP and legal issues that they may be working through. The other big component of our program is pitch practice. This is obviously designed to lead into our innovator showcase that we run at the end of the 12-week program. But it's also for everybody to really practice their communication skills and how it is that they convey their ventures to whether it be customers or partners or investors. And that's the final big component of our program, that we work very, very hard to bring curated connections to the cohort. Everybody that we're working with is working with different customers, different types of technologies, different problems, and we will bring the appropriate types of stakeholders to the table for you. So following those 12 weeks, what do you walk away with? So I guess our mission and our promise to our innovators that we want to get you market ready. And being market ready is different for different ventures. For some, it's being ready to engage directly with customers. For others, it's partners. And for some, it's investors and funders. We do that through, as Ding described, growing your entrepreneurial capabilities. For some, shifting your mindset quite significantly. A lot of exposure to industry and expanding your networks. And we will work with you to, help shape your what we call venture playbook that gives you a bit of a plan post the program. In terms of the nitty-gritty details of the program itself, as we've described, it is a cohort-based program. You'll be one of many other innovators. It can be yourself, but you could also participate with a team of people as well. In some cases, if you're just on your own, we may be able to help you over the 12 weeks find some potential future colleagues or co-founders. It's a 12-week program. We like to convey that you'll need to spend about a day a week on average committing to the program. So that day a week consists of a cohort meetup session each week, your one-on-one sessions with one of our venture builders each week, and a pitch practice session. But on top of that, we expect that you're also working on your venture outside of those contact hours as well. All of those contact hours are online and remote, as Anna described, but we do from time to time run local events, which we obviously spread the word out about those and hope to meet some of you in person too. The 12-week concludes with the Innovator Showcase that we mentioned, that has a whole range of different partners and stakeholders attending, and our top innovators that are selected for that, we will fly to the relevant location for that event. Finally, because we're fortunately funded through the Commonwealth's Future Drought Fund, there are no fees or costs for participating in the Drought Resilience Lab. And we also don't take any equity, which means that, if you have a venture already, this is a non-dilutive program, which is also different to other programs that are out there too. I'll now pass on to Anna, who will go into a bit more detail about who it is that we are looking for. Anna.
Thank you, Ben. What we mean by innovators? So first of all, at this stage, what we're looking for is innovator to begin forming a new venture. That means you don't need to have a new entity set up or legal structures. All you need to do is have some work done in innovations. And what we mean by innovators is someone who is either an inventor or a developer of a IP-driven technology. So you can be a very entrepreneurial researchers, someone like Ding, who's been still in the academic systems like universities, able to develop technologies ready to graduate from the labs and able to embrace that into the agriculture application as your key commercialization areas. You could be a early stage research career, PhD student, postdoc, or a senior professor who's been working on the platform technology for a long time. We cater to all range of researcher in this space. In addition, of course, if you have been already working as active founders, on your spare times or working this as a part-time, I would love to work with you as well before you embrace that full-time, full speed into commercializations. And what we're here to do is help you to be market ready, as Ben mentioned, so that you're ready for that market engagement and a full-fledged scale before you kick off. Or you can be a technical expert who have this amazing technology like Beck, came from different industries and see the potential for game-changing solution bring into agriculture, and it has the potential to address drought challenges. All of these three, I would love to hear from you. So we are looking for innovations from Australia and keen to commercialize in Australia. So in the case of IP, what we mean by that is very broad. You don't necessarily mean you need to have a registered patent for clarification. So if you're in doubt, please apply and reach out. Over the past 3 cohorts, we have also seen a relatively equal split between the type of technologies or innovation we've seen. So everything from a pure software, software as a service play, into the ecosystems, as well as a hardware plus software combinations or wonderful new hardware technology can be implemented on site. In addition, we have seen a cohort of biological solutions, everything from a diagnostic testings to seed breeding solutions as well. So very broad range of technology we can cater for. And what do we mean by drought? So one of the key questions, if you're thinking about applying, will be, what do you mean by drought resilience and climate resilience? So we developed this as a guidance to say, what we mean by drought resilience is very broad. And these 10 categories is based on after a extensive engagement with the agriculture sector and with the key stakeholders. They help us to identify these high-level challenges that they believe will help to contribute to drought resilience. So it can be from conventional thinking about drought, so about water and how to better manage water, finding new source of water or better quality of water. But it can be also include everything from making more financial resilience for farmers, or making sure they are more risk resilience during volatile seasons like drought, so they are financially more savvy or ready to encounter for these challenges ahead. So, or you are working down in the downstream or midstream or value chain. So circular economy kind of solutions of utilizing waste that's occurred from the farms also will be qualified as addressing drought resilience as well. As you can see, it's pretty broad. So if you feel like you fit into one of the challenges or you can be able to address some of these challenges, we'd love to hear from how your innovation can deliver impact in this space. These are some great examples of innovators we've been working with in the past 3 cohorts. So as you can see Rebecca's with Reason Egg on the screen, as well as Ding Zhang. But just to recap, we have been fortunate to work with many innovators came from different aspects of the ecosystem in innovations. Everything from Nick Johnson, who's been working on Aquifer, a pure software platforms that help to streamline processing of trading agricultural water rights, to working with Sarah Preston in Melbourne, who has developed this saliva-based test to identify worm-resistant sheep, informing sheep breeding programs. Also, a IP came from the Regional University of Federations. So if you feel like you're at the stage of similar to who they are, or you feel like you are exploring the commercialization, again, love to hear what your innovation could look like. So one of the common questions we often get is people tend to self-select out and feel like, oh, maybe my idea is too early, or I've done a lot of work already. Am I too late to benefit a program like the Drought Resilience Program? The short answer is no. And these are 5 high-level factors we look into when we're looking at any innovations. We look into if you are a entrepreneurial individuals and you haven't formed a team, haven't had an entity, you're not too early. As long as you have an early interaction with the market and insights, you have a prototype, lab scale will be more than sufficient, and some high initial perspective of how your innovation can address drought or some hypothesis you want to potentially validate, you are ready to benefit the programs we deliver here. Or you have already raised some fundings from angel investors or high net worths. You have actually deployed your solution in certain areas or certain regions of Australia, but you're nowhere close to actually scale into the key market that you intend to go. Or you are new to using a technology to address drought resilience. Our program help you, the 12-week program will help you to validate these ideas to see the potential fit of addressing drought resilience. So you may still benefit from that broader network, as Dean and Beck mentioned. For the technology experts in our audience, if you're familiar with the terminology called technology readiness levels, this is the spread of the TRLs we've seen across all the innovators participate in our programs. As you can see, we work as early as a proof of concept at a lab scale at TRL 3 to all the way a system prototype has been deployed in the field and tested for multiple field trials. So our sweet spot is between 4 to 6, but we're happy to look into innovations early and later. Okay, so just switch gear about how the process and date works. So so we are already in the market. If you check out our website, our application is open for your submissions. So if you are thinking of getting your application started, recommend you to do so as early as today. Our application will open for 6 weeks. So this is week 1, so 5 weeks to go. And it will close on the Sunday, 27th of July, 9 p.m. AEST. We do have some late submissions, so don't forget to submit earlier than that just to avoid the last minute rush, okay? We do have an early application deadline as well. That will be on the 13th of July, again on a Sunday, 9 p.m. What does that really mean? It really allows us to start assessing your application straight away on the 14th of July. That means we can get back to you straight away with some clarification questions, and you will have an opportunity to resubmit your application before the deadline. So if you feel like you may not have a full-fledged application ready to go, early bird will be a great opportunity to engage us earlier and get some clarification. After the deadlines, we will, during the assessment process, we will reach out to you for a 15 to 20 minutes interview to clarify all aspects of the application. We expect to have a position to notify you with outcomes from the August 22nd. So how to apply? So first of all, go to our website. So if you go to our venture.beanstalkagtech.com, you will see a lovely orange button on the front page called Apply for Cohort 4. Once you click on that, you will get a Microsoft form look like on the screen, basically asking you some basic contact details. That should take less than 1 minute. And once you complete this, check your email inbox, where it will contain a welcome emails with clear instruction of how to prepare for the applications. So that will include a worksheet for you to work on, as well as the link to the full application form. The full application form is comprised with a set of questions, and on average should take about 2 to 3 hours max. And when you are in doubt or in the process of preparing or thinking you may not be a fit, it doesn't matter what stage of your thinking are. If you think this could benefit you, we recommend you to reach out. So on the page or under the program page called Drought Resilient Lab on our website, you should have an option to schedule a call straight away with one of our venture builders. What that means is You can discuss how the program can benefit from you. You can share what your innovation is. And one of us, like myself, will be able to ask some questions to clarify what's the potential link to drought resilience. And that will able to help you to better prepare for applications. And we're more than happy to answer any question about the process and the next step as well. So encourage to schedule a call if you're in any doubts of the program. Yeah, I'll pass it back to Ben.
Thank you, Anna. So just to recap, yeah, if you have any questions, want to get more information, obviously you can go to our website. There's a bunch of information on there, including FAQs. We'll have a recording of this webinar up on the website shortly as well. We would encourage you to schedule a one-on-one call with one of the venture builders from the team. That can be really useful, both for us to get a better understanding of you and your innovation, and we can also help guide you through the application process and answer any questions you might have around the program itself. Our program is very broad but tailored to the variability in the innovators that we work with. So that's a good opportunity for you to get a better understanding of what type of value that you could, look to gain from a program like ours. And finally, we also have an email address that you can ping us on as well. But I certainly encourage you to not be worried about booking in a time with us. Love to connect. So with that brings us to the conclusion of our information webinar, but we are here now for a few minutes to answer any questions that you might have, which you can fire through on the Q&A function. If you have any questions that you think of later on, you have all the details on how you can ask us. Anna or Nat, do we have anything that's come through?
No questions as yet, Ben, but highly encourage everyone on the call. If you've got a question, please pop it into the chat function, into the Q&A function. No, I think we've got a quiet crowd.
That's okay. Hopefully that correlates with us doing a good job of explaining everything. Well, look, we might give everybody a 3-minute early mark. Really appreciate everybody that's had a chance to join us live today, and anybody that happens to be watching the recording right now. Oh, yes, Nat, we've got one.
We've just got a comment from, thanks, Cal. No questions from me. Thanks very much for the additional details. Thanks, Cal. No more questions.
But yes, as mentioned, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We always love connecting with innovators out there. So with that, we might bring our session to a close. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks, Anna and Nat.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely afternoon.